For this episode, listeners asked us questions, and we answered. We talk Transformers, Harry Potter, even Love Island, if you can believe it, and there's a little bit of Star Wars thrown in there along the way, too. All this and more on episode 31 of Krypton to Alderaan. Welcome, everyone, to Krypton to Alderaan. You know, everyone's answers to our surprise question last week filled me with pride. But we shouldn't be so proud of this technological terror we created. The ability to podcast is insignificant next to the power of the Force. I'm Joey, and with me is Royce.
We stand here amongst my achievement, not yours. Hello, podcast.
Robin.
Hello.
And Doctor Who? Dr. Lorelei.
Hi, podcast.
Yes, our very own Time Lord, Timekeeper, keeper of the sacred timeline.
Lord.
I was hoping everyone was going to go with a Death Star quote. There's so many good ones.
Everyone else, let me know your Death Star quotes and I'll start the episodes with them. Anyway, and we're the podcast that talks all about nerdy pop culture stuff, but it's mostly Star Wars. I'm going to do this professionally this time, unlike last time. If you'd like to get in touch with us, reach out with your feelings. We're on Twitter at Krypton Alderaan and Facebook and Instagram at Krypton to Alderaan, and we're also on YouTube. So go check us out there and respectfully click our subscribe button. No smashing. Or you can send us an email at kryptontoalderaan@gmail.com. If you're so inclined, and we'd really appreciate it if you left us a rating or review. It's great for the show. It's great for us. It's really great for me. Keeps me going. And it helps others find the show. And if you do leave us a review, I'll read it on the show like these. Wish I Had a Take Back says, Sci-Fi Mastery, 5 stars. If you grew up waiting for Friday and saving your lunch money to pick up your comics, this podcast is going to feel like home. Insightful and respectful of the content, these episodes bring you back. Love it. And Lydia Foote. Love this podcast. Another 5 stars. So much fun, interesting discussion, awesome community to be a part of. So thanks, Wish I Had a Take Back and Lydia. Those are great. And again, if you want to leave us a review, I'll read it on the air. This air. Anyway, on to the next thing. Now, very important, the question that has been on everyone's mind since our last episode. Did Royce and Robin find something to watch?
We did pretty quickly agree to watch something this past Friday, but we haven't committed to a new show. But we did watch a movie on Friday, and it only took two rounds of no and no to get to it, which is pretty good.
So, Royce, did you have to ask multiple times, or did each of you say no once?
I came up with options, and I apparently struck gold on the third time. Home run. Hit it out of the park.
Wow. Yeah, really practice your pitch meeting. What movie?
We watched The Big Lebowski.
Oh, wow.
So an oldie, but a goodie.
Had both of you seen The Big Lebowski?
Yeah, we'd seen it, so it was more of a comfort watch rather than like, we haven't seen this thing. I think my first 2 options were things we didn't see. And then Robin was like, I like that movie. We can watch that movie. That is on the approved list.
Okay, great. Yeah, just make an approved list. That's the easiest way to do it.
Now, we have it on DVD, but we watched it recorded from YouTube TV is the sad thing.
Wow.
Did you have to like fast forward through the commercials?
Yup.
Okay, well, this is weird. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do.
But you can record movies from YouTube TV, and it's like in your library. So like I have all these other like movies queued up.
It's in your library.
Yeah.
Physically,
it was already in your library. Anyway, all right. Well, this got weird.
You asked.
Couple more specific questions. One for Robin. Tell us about Ghost Town Living.
Ghost Town Living is a channel on YouTube of which I've watched 1 episode and did not enjoy.
I think we've talked about it on the podcast before. Royce is a fan of Ghost Town Living, about this rich white guy who bought a mining town and lives in the mines now or something. I don't know.
What's not to love?
Yeah.
He lives 900 feet down in the mines with his gold YouTube button.
All right. Well, Robin didn't like it, I guess. Is that the moral of the story? Royce finally got Robin to watch it and she didn't like it.
It's hard for me to, at least this one episode, because he was literally 900 feet down in a mine. It was a lot of like GoPro helmet cam, first person, like made me a little bit motion sick. And I'm also very claustrophobic. So someone being 900 feet below the ground in a tiny, tiny tunnel was not really my cup of tea.
Mm.
Not great.
Yeah, mine either. It would not be mine either, but yeah.
Mine either.
Get it?
Ha ha ha!
Geologist.
Not bad.
What about 2020? Robin, got anything new with 2020?
Did we watch 2020?
Yeah, there was one this past week. It was the boy who got kidnapped and then rescued another boy that got kidnapped, and then his brother turned out to be the serial killer.
Oh, yeah. That was sad. So it was basically about like a serial killer, but it started off with how the serial killer's brother was abducted and he was missing for like 7 years. And then he came back and he was the town hero because he stopped the person who kidnapped him from kidnapping like a 5-year-old boy. So he came back, with the little boy. And then a few years later, he got in like a motorcycle accident and he died, and like extra messed up the older brother. And then you start finding out that the older brother was going to Yellowstone in like, what was that, the 80s or 90s at some point, and he was basically like kidnapping and murdering people.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So just like a life of this stuff happening to this family?
Yeah. This one person in particular, his entire life was pretty horrible. It even goes into the details of how he was like dating someone who had 2 kids, and they worked together, and then they interviewed the one kid who's like an adult now with her own kids. And she was talking about how much her and her sister loved this guy. He was a really great guy. But he ended up telling the police that his first choice of victim was his girlfriend and her 2 kids. So,
jeez.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, you just keep watching that for the rest of us. Lorelai, what do you got?
Well, we've been working our way pretty quickly through Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what we've been doing the last 2 weeks, right?
Hard binge.
Hard binge.
Yeah.
So good. It's one of those shows that like the more and more you get into it, the more complicated the story gets, which is pretty fun. And like, even though each episode very much stands on its own, you could just like watch it and understand what's going on for the most part. They do some fun like tying back and flashbacks, and like it's all just very well done. Well done, Doctor Who.
Well done. No, I really like it. And we're in the Matt Smith Doctor Who era, the 11th Doctor, who is my favorite, and they're also my favorite companions, and it's just really good.
Does that mean it's season 11? Is there a new Doctor every season?
No, that's not exactly how. David Tennant was the Doctor for like 4 or 5 quote-unquote seasons.
Years.
Yeah, and Matt Smith's the same way. He lasts a long time too, so not exactly.
The season structure is not as clear to me. Like, I feel like we watched like 4 Christmas specials in a row.
Well, in 2000, it gets complicated. In 2009, there was a bunch of specials and stuff of David Tennant, leaving the show and Matt Smith coming into the show. So that was a weird time in Doctor Who. But those episodes are good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doctor Who. Love it. Love it. It's really reinvigorating my love of Doctor Who. It's been a long time since I've watched it.
Mm-hmm.
A first look was released for Star Wars Visions, which they announced last year, but it looks so good. Did anybody watch the little first look thing for Star Wars Visions?
I'm surprised that I have not even heard of this.
It's like an anthology film series. Lucasfilm went to Japanese creators and they've made these anime-inspired Star Wars films. It looks very good. I'm really excited for it. Just the idea that like Lucasfilm and the company in general is reaching out to fans. Like a big part of this first look thing is the Japanese creators talking about how excited they are to be able to work on Star Wars, how it's been like a lifelong dream of theirs. And the same with like when they were showing footage of the writers for the High Republic coming up with all the stories. It's like, yeah, just keep doing that. Just keep finding these super fans who are in these creative roles now and getting them to create Star Wars. Like, that's just the right way to do this. It looks really good. It's really fun to see those creators on screen being like, this was my dream and now I'm doing it. It's just all very fun and inspiring and lovely, I think is the best word for it. So check it out. Okay, this episode. My original thought for this episode was to do a favorite movie type thing, but as soon as I thought that, my immediate thought was, that's so boring. That's such a boring idea. But I did want to do a get to know us better, what do we like besides Star Wars and Loki kind of thing. So I put a call out for questions on social media, an AUA, ask us anything. And actually, several people responded, which is awesome. We've been getting a lot more interaction on social media from both listeners and other podcasters, who I guess are probably also listening, which is really great. And I'm loving it. So this will be our Ask Us Anything episode. I'll ask the questions that we receive, and I'll probably throw a few additional or curveball ones in there as they come up on the fly, on the spot. And we'll all be best friends by the end. So what do you think about that? Okay. Everyone ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Great. First question. How dare you? Just kidding. First question, I want to go specifically to Lorelai, so we just get this out of the way. Rachel. Thanks a lot, Rachel. But
you don't have to say her name like that, Joey.
I figured Lorelai could maybe talk a few listeners into this. So have you watched Love Island yet, or what? Love Island has been recommended to us by a group of friends, and I'm not sure if we ever talked about it on the podcast before, but
I think I've mentioned it. So the new Love Island starts, I think, this week.
What's your elevator pitch to listeners who might be interested in this kind of thing?
So Love Island is like in the same vein as The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, but better and British.
Better and British.
Better and British, which is like, you know, most reality. I mean, there's a reason why we all watch the Great British Baking Show and none of the American. I mean, I guess some people watch those things.
The Great British Baking Show is nice and full of nice people.
You know what? Get out of my Love Island segment, Joey. Out of here.
I'm out.
Joey does not like Love Island, but he's also determined to not like Love Island or any show like Love Island.
That's correct.
I think you don't get to have an opinion on this.
Wow.
But it actually is a lot better than the American versions. I think the people are a lot more genuine and generally not as dumb. I mean, there's some of them are legitimately stupid, but you know, that's fine. But it's entertaining. It's not just like one dude and 30 women. It's like a group of people. Of course, it's like kind of weird because they all have to like stay in a couple or else they get kicked off the show, basically. But it's just fun. I'm allowed to watch trashy TV every once in a while,
sure.
even if I am a doctor, whatever. I don't care. I don't care what you think of me, Joey.
I think that makes you well-rounded.
Thank you, Royce. But no, I haven't watched the newest season of Love Island because I can only watch it when Joey's not there.
See, so similar problems. It's not on my pre-approved list.
It's not on. Yeah. So Joey gets up early on Fridays to watch The Bad Batch without me. So I'm going to have to start getting up early on a different day or something to watch Love Island.
Yeah.
But I'm almost done I've been watching the seasons backwards. And so I'm almost done with, I think it's like the 4th season of the UK version. Mm-hmm. Soon enough, the new season will be coming out. And the fun thing about Love Island is that it's basically in like real time. An episode comes out every night, every weeknight during the summer. There's a new episode. And it's like within 2 days of what's actually happening. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Every night.
But anyway, that's where I'm at with Love Island. Rachel, thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Rachel. You know, it's just in this house, it's hard to balance. You know, it's again like a balance, finding stuff you both want to watch. For example, just a random example, how do you balance watching The Bad Batch with watching something like Real Housewives? I don't know, just random off the top of my head. Did Lorelai's elevator pitch convince either of you to watch Love Island?
Robin is shaking her head, and I am grinning ear to ear because if you do not have a guilty pleasure, soft spot in your heart for trashy television, trashy reality television, I don't know if you're really an American, because that is like just as American as apple pie, is people being stupid on TV. Even if it's British TV, you have to enjoy people just like being humans, you know? Because when you watch a scripted show, like they're trying to pull like the best and the worst out of people. And sometimes reality is just trying to pull the worst out, but like it's mostly people just being their natural dumb selves. And I find that comforting. So I would totally watch it. We tried to watch the Bachelorette the other day, I had it on and Robin was like, this is not staying on. But
give Love Island a try.
That's pretty much in the same vein.
Yeah, it's very similar. I do watch it with the subtitles on because their accents are like sometimes, depending on where they're from, I like literally cannot understand them sometimes. So that adds a fun component.
Yeah. You have not convinced me.
Never thought I would. But according to Royce, you're not an American, so there you go.
That's fine. I guess that's fair. I'll go live in a mine 900 feet underground. Next question comes from two really great podcasts, actually. They tweeted questions at us, so that's great. Sithty Minutes, which is hilarious, right? And Nerdherder podcast both ask, what are your favorite/least favorite Transformers movies? I think Royce and I will answer that one, and I'll have a different one for Robin and Lorelai, who might be less familiar with the Transformers franchise.
Yeah, for that one, I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to watch all the Transformers movies by noon tomorrow.
Yeah. And we didn't.
I bet you could play them all at the same time, and they'd probably just like mesh together perfectly. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to rank them. Although I haven't seen Bumblebee or like the very last couple, which I don't even know if I could name because the names get wackier and wackier.
Yeah.
Last Transformer Night or whatever. That came out right after like Last Jedi. I was always really confused with that name for that one.
That's pretty close to my answer, what you first said about like you can watch them all and they all become one thing. But similarly, I have also not watched the last one, whatever the last one in the series was, or Bumblebee. But we've heard that Bumblebee is the best one, right? From other people.
Have tried to get Robin to watch it. It's not on the approved list.
Yeah, he's checking the list right now, everyone. Just double checking.
Okay, so there's Transformers, the OG in 2007. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, not Jedi. 2009. Transformers Dark of the Moon. Robin, come on, these titles. 2011. Transformers Age of Extinction. 2014, Transformers Last Night, 2017, and then Bumblebee, Transformers Rise of the Beasts in 2022. So there's a lot of these, and I have not seen all. I've seen the first three, and that's it. And I remember loving the first one in 2007. Like, yes, this is great. Right before all of like the comic book movie craze like really popped off.
Yeah, I would say, well, I have also not seen Age of Extinction or The Last Night or Good Night Moon or whatever it's called, or Bumblebee. But I remember really enjoying the first one and then not really enjoying any after that. I'm not sure I could go back and watch the first one now, just with Shia LaBeouf, and I remember there being really weird transitions in that movie and maybe some not so great jokes or maybe some pretty offensive jokes, and maybe it doesn't hold up all that well. But I don't know if I could go back and watch it, and I don't know if I like have the energy to watch it. But I would say that if we're ranking them, that one's my favorite, and then my least favorite is every single other one of them.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. The funny thing is, like, even my brother Russ, I remember it's either the Fallen one or the Dark of the... I think it's the Dark of the Moon. He was like, this movie, it starts, and in the very beginning, they're just telling you what's happening in the movie. It's not even really a movie. They're like, they showed up, and they logged into the system, and they stole the data, and there's like not really a movie there. But then there's hilarious. Transformers transforming, and I guess that's really what you pay for with a Transformer movie.
But it never looked good. It always looked like just some weird, confusing blob that the CGI wasn't good enough to represent a Transformer transforming, so they had to make it really confusing for your brain so that you didn't, like, see it badly. I don't know. I can't describe it correctly, but it never looked good.
There's just a lot going on in a Transformer movie, and it moves really fast. So you're just kind of like overwhelmed with visual stimulation.
Yeah.
Rather than like, I don't know, more simple geometry of trucks turning into robots.
That's another point I was going to bring up about not really being able to go back and watch it. Because it's Michael Bay, right? And there's a lot of exploding and slow motion. Like every 5 minutes it's in slow motion. And it would just be, I think, pretty irritating to go back and watch at this point. But anyway, I guess that one's my favorite.
I'd watch it.
One. Transformers, the first one. Or
I agree.
Some weird cockamamie name that you'd come up with. Dark Side of the Moon. Lorelai and Robin. Same question, but with Harry Potter. Favorite, least favorite movie?
I feel like this one's much easier.
All right. What's your answer?
No, I mean, you can tell the Harry Potter movies apart. So in that respect,
it's complete. Yeah, it's just completely different. But I figured it would be the appropriate one to because you're both fans of the franchise, and
I think my favorite is the third one.
Okay, that's the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, which is also my favorite book. It's just kind of fun because it's when they finally like broke out of just like making a movie that was exactly the book. You know,
Right.
like the first and second movies, you could just like. They were trying to get every little detail exactly like the book. And, you know, and the third one is when it's like, oh, yeah, they don't have to wear wizard robes all the time.
Huh.
And like, it's like a little bit darker and not in like the Chamber of Secrets is like a very dark
kids book.
Yeah, for a kid's book. But the movie in Prisoner of Azkaban is like starts to get a little bit quirky.
Yeah.
And a little bit more fun.
Robin, what's your favorite, least favorite?
My favorite is also Prisoner of Azkaban for a lot of the same reasons, because it is a little bit darker and it gets a little bit more strange. And Sirius Black is also one of my favorite characters.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to go least favorite, I would probably pick Goblet of Fire, because I remember it's also probably my least favorite book. There's nothing like, I mean, I guess like the tournament is supposed to be exciting, but it's not really exciting. There's something just kind of like strange and lame, and it feels like J.K. Rowling had no idea what to do with the next book and was just like, we'll do like a tournament and then we'll have Voldemort show up and I don't know, some people will die, right? You like that?
Yeah. It's like a very elaborate setup for the return of Voldemort.
Yeah.
It's like the whole story.
Yeah. I really like the return of Voldemort, how all that happens in the tournament, but there's a lot of I don't want to take over the question, but I think that might also be my least favorite movie. Or Order of the Phoenix, because I think they left out some pretty incredible stuff from that movie.
I remember being disappointed by that one.
Yeah. So did you come up with your least favorite?
Well, I think Chamber of Secrets has always been my least favorite book. And that movie, I think, is like a little bit more boring. Like the first one was exciting because it was the first one. Right? So then when the second one came out, it was just like, oh, this is also just exactly the same as the book, and they didn't do anything creative or interesting. It was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
And I remember not really liking the Order of the Phoenix all that much either.
Yeah, there's just too much important stuff left out. But it's interesting because you're saying that the first couple stayed really true to the books, and then maybe the third one is the tipping point where they were trying new stuff, but then they get pretty far from the books towards, as they head towards the end.
Yeah.
That went the opposite way for me.
Yeah.
It really sort of turned me off of some of it.
Yeah, I think they just missed like the interesting details sort of later on.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to have every single like the sets and the costumes and like all of those details were so spot on in the first two. But it's like that stuff isn't as important as like getting the like most interesting parts of the story, right?
Right. Well, I had a follow-up question, which was going to be about the books, but you both sort of answered it already. But Robin, did you say if Prisoner of Azkaban is your favorite book? Or I guess what's your favorite book?
I think my favorite book is Sorcerer's Stone, just because it is the first one, and that was the one that started it all. Yeah.
Yeah. And you, Prisoner of Azkaban?
Yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban. I think because it's like the first time, it's like before Voldemort comes back, and there's like just this glorious moment at the end where Harry like actually has hope for his life, where he's like, I'm going to go live with Sirius. I don't have to deal with this awful family.
Yeah.
You really think his life is about to get better. Obviously, it all comes crashing down.
Yeah, very sad.
But it's like that moment of like him seeing a new life for himself, I think, is what hooks me in that one.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite book for sure. Royce, do you have an opinion about any of this?
I've seen the first one in like large chunks 1 or 2 times, and then I've seen bits and pieces of the others, but I'm not really a Harry Potter-er. What do they call Harry Potter fans? Potterers?
Potheads.
Potheads? I'm not really a pothead. I would like to, as with any like major franchise, like I probably have to binge it at some point before I die to see what the whole dealio is about.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's another one of those, how do you be a fan of a problematic thing? Now we know a lot about J.K. Rowling and her views on stuff, and it makes it difficult.
Royce, have you read the books?
No, I have not read the books.
You know, honestly, I'm so jealous of the people who get to read Harry Potter as adults.
Yeah.
It just seems like it would be so nice to like start afresh.
Right? That's a very similar way I feel about Star Wars. Like if you could have a neuralizer and wipe your memory and then be watching Star Wars for the first time or reading Harry Potter. I think that's a really amazing thing about fandom is when you step back and you're like, oh, this person is going to watch this thing that I love for the first time, and the potential of their reaction and the potential fandom in this next person is really, really fun, I think. All right, we ready for the next question?
Ready.
Yeah. Next question comes from one of our listeners, Motsenbopper. More fun than a pillow fight. I'm sorry I do that every time. He asks, what's each of our lightsaber colors? And this is the way we're going to do this. We're going to go around and we're going to say our lightsaber colors, and then I'm going to read what they mean.
According to whom?
According to the internet, Lorelai. Doctor. Let's start with Royce.
I'm going to go with green.
Green. Green lightsabers were typically used by a Jedi that had a strong connection to the living force. And why green?
I think just because like Luke in Return of the Jedi, like he becomes more badass and he gets a green lightsaber, and Qui-Gon also has a green lightsaber. And I would say that those are 2 epic Jedi people at those periods in time. And also green's a nice color.
See, listeners, you're getting to know us so well. Robin, what's your lightsaber color?
Well, I was going to say green because it's my favorite color.
Green. Strong connection to the living force.
Can I do a secondary one? I would do
Sure,
blue.
Yeah.
I would do blue.
Blue. Typically wielded by Jedi Guardians or those who seek to defend the Order. So there you go. You could have 2, green and blue, and be the best of both worlds.
Can I do a blue and green swirl like an ice cream cone?
Yeah, do a twist on there. Yeah, get one of those whip lightsabers. Is that in Spaceballs where they like twirl around each other and get stuck? Anybody ever see Spaceballs in this group?
Not in a very long time.
Yeah.
Not enough to quote. Does anybody have a double lightsaber that's one color on one side and another color on the other? Because that seems like a good opportunity for that. And that way, like whatever mood you're in, you know?
Oh, yeah, mood
turn it around.
lightsabers. Yeah, that'd be nice. I don't know. Maybe in the High Republic or in some comic book form. I'll get back to you. Lorelai, what's your lightsaber color? Let me pull up the list. Hold on. You were going to say blue.
Because I think they're just the prettiest ones.
So is that it? Is that your final answer? You're also a guardian?
Yeah, but just out of curiosity, I want to know what the internet says about red. Because you're not picking red.
I'm not going to pick red.
But I want to just hear what they say. Whoever they are, the internet.
Let's see. Nothing real too specific here, but I think red just symbolizes corruption. And for lack of a better term, I guess, evil. Because in order to get a red lightsaber, you have to bleed a kyber crystal. Like there's no natural, as far as I know, there's no natural kyber crystal that produces a red lightsaber. Someone has to negatively interact with that crystal in order to make it red, which I think leads into my favorite color. So thank you for that transition.
You're welcome.
Or not my favorite color, but my lightsaber color, which I think would be white, which is what happens when a Jedi or a Force wielder heals a red or a bled kyber crystal.
That's so nice.
That was a red lightsaber.
What does the internet say about that?
What does the internet say about that? White's lightsabers are almost exclusively associated with one character, Ahsoka Tano. Come on. But there are some in the High Republic.
So we just missed purple and yellow.
Purple, yellow, there's black, there's the dark saber, there's all different colors. We have orange, and there's so many colors to choose from now. I think what really started the different lightsaber colors, though, was Samuel L. Jackson. Anyone listening, if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. I guess I could look it up. But
he wanted a different color.
He wanted a purple lightsaber, and he was like, George, I want my lightsaber to be purple. And then there were other colors. Before that, it was just green, blue, and red. As far as I remember, that's the story.
I mean, you would think, like, if white light is like the basis for every lightsaber, that you could like break it into any color, right? Isn't that how prisms and stuff work? Like, it could be anything.
But it's also dependent on the kyber crystal, and the kyber crystal, if you're a youngling and you go to Ilum to get your kyber crystal, it calls to you. So it all depends on who you are and maybe what kind of Jedi you will be. The Force guides you to your kyber crystal, and the lightsaber is just sort of an extension of the Force.
Do you think some Padawans made fun of other Padawans because of their lightsaber color?
I hope not. That's really mean. No bullying in the Jedi Order until you get to the Fall of the Jedi era of things. But man, that would be really mean.
Like you're the only kid with a yellow lightsaber in Jedi training school?
No, I'm going to say no. I'm just going to say no, that never happened. We're never going to consider that ever again.
That's a good opportunity for like a television show, though. You could write that episode.
No.
Well, it's a teaching moment.
We shouldn't even have to teach that. There's a really great series of episodes of the Clone Wars where Ahsoka and Yoda take the younglings to Ilum to find their lightsaber crystals. Highly recommend. There's a little Wookiee Jedi. He's great. Anyway, that's our lightsaber colors. Thanks, Motsenbopper. Okay, and our final question here comes from fellow podcaster, fanfic writer, all-around great human being. She's got a great Etsy store. She's just great. Hope Mullinax asks, what's an old favorite movie of ours, and what's our new favorite movie?
So my favorite movie for a long time was The Lion King until I got super into Nightmare Before Christmas, which is my current favorite movie and has been for probably like 15 years.
Nice. What was so appealing to you about Nightmare Before Christmas that you changed from The Lion King?
I like everything about it, but I like, probably just that it's a Halloween movie is the biggest thing. And then I also really like the music. Danny Elfman's my favorite composer. So I like that it has like fun, weird characters and fun, weird music. And I think the whole thing is just really, really well done. Yeah, I love that movie. Lorelai, do you love that movie?
I don't think I love it like you guys love it. Like, I remember being creeped out by that movie as a kid.
Yeah.
I have a different relationship.
That's the best part. I assume that that's a big part of why Robin loves it so much, because it's creepy. Yeah. Robin likes creepy stuff. Like Royce. So Royce. Just kidding.
That I also like creepy stuff, or that I am creepy stuff.
You are the creepy
stuff.
And
Robin happens to like me.
Interpret it however you want to interpret it. You got what once was your favorite movie and what now is your favorite movie?
I definitely came up with a list of a ton of movies that I'm like, I will watch these movies at any point in time. Like, pick one of these and we're good to go.
I love that. Can I just break in here real quick? I just want to bring something up, because when I sent this question to the group, Royce said something like, I like all movies. I don't really not like movies, which is great. I love that. I can work with that. But also, I happen to know that you don't like Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Wolverine Origins. There's also a list of those.
Well, but it's also like, in hating a movie or not enjoying a movie, like, it's still fun to, like, there are these like epic events, you know? The spectacle of somebody put that film together, going to see a movie is really fun. I can't knock that, even if you're like, we're going to go see this it didn't get great reviews. Yeah. Like the Tomorrow War. is out on Amazon Prime. I heard that it's not great, but like, I want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I want to see all the blockbusters. Let's go see Fast 9. Call up your brother. Let's go. Or whatever it is, F9. All right, we're off the rails here.
What do you got?
So if I had to say old movie, like I would have to say like Star Wars, I guess. But if it's not Star Wars, then definitely depends on what counts as old. I'm trying to think of like that same time period. Like if it was still like late 90s, like what would have been my other favorite movie at the time?
Yeah.
There probably wasn't another movie. Like it was Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I mean, maybe it would have been like Toy Story or something. Like you said,
Right.
Lion King. Like we had all those on VHS too. But I don't know. I don't like celebrate Toy Story in the same respect. But that probably would have been the answer when I was a 10-year-old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What about now?
I feel like I said, I like a lot of movies. I want to name like 15 million ones, but probably the one that like maybe resonates the most, that like I find myself quoting the most and maybe like could see myself actually in the film the most is probably Office Space. Because it's just so like, it's like we're saying about reality TV. Like that's reality movie where you're like, this is just kind of mundane life and it's really like not quite exciting and it doesn't always go your way. And it's just kind of like, yeah, that's what it is, man. Fucking A. Another day. I don't like my job. And you're like, I can quit and yada yada.
Self-employed.
Well,
no, I get it.
It's such a relatable thing. And it's just like so enjoyable to see that portrayed in a movie. And Mike Judge is hilarious. And that movie has like withstood the test of time.
Yeah. What else is on your list?
That's kind of old though. My favorite movies are like rise to riches movies, like Wolf of Wall Street
Postman.
or what?
Postman.
Postman. I do love the Postman.
Postman's great.
Or like Goodfellas. Like I like those kind of gangster movies where like somebody like takes advantage of the system and like rises to the top, but then like they fall down. Blow.
Waterworld.
Johnny Depp. Donnie Depp. Donnie Depp. Oh, man.
Old Donnie Depp.
So thank you for bringing up Postman and Waterworld. Yes, I do like those movies. But that's different. That's post-apocalyptic, though.
Yeah. You got anything else? You got a list of 15 million? Should we publish your list in the show notes of this
My list is just like blockbuster movies, though. I think that really ties into like me just liking movies. The movies on my list are like high-rated movies among like they're the ones you're going to see on TV playing back to back, minus The Postman and Waterworld. But they should play those movies on TV because they are good. We can do our own little episode about it. Postman is underrated. Waterworld is underrated. You heard it here first.
I think Postman is underrated. No one knows what it is. Waterworld is just stigmatized. It's like everyone decided that Waterworld was bad. And I'm sure there are people who think it's bad, but I think it's pretty good, but it was a flop and all that stuff. So
sad.
We should watch The Postman. Lorelai, do you have answers?
I do, but I don't think you're gonna like them.
Okay, lay it on us.
Well, I think I've said this on this podcast before, maybe like the first or second episode, that I don't really have like favorite movies. I have been racking I watched a lot of movies as a kid and growing up or whatever, but I think part of it is that like if I was given the choice between watching a movie and rereading Harry Potter, I probably would have chosen rereading Harry Potter like 99 out of 100 times. So like books, I like connected much more to books than I did to movies up until like reading became not fun, like sometime in college. So that's kind of a cop out. And then like in my adulthood, I like connect more to TV shows than I do to movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like a part of who I am. I mean, I do have movies that I've enjoyed. I really like, a lot of the like Hunt for the Wilder People, I really love.
Yep.
All of those, the Taika Waititi movies, the ones that are like a little bit quirky, but I also love watching movies. I like going to the movie theater. I'll watch the big blockbusters and then I just kind of like leave them behind in my mind.
Yeah.
So I just have a different relationship with movies, I think, than some other people.
Do you have a favorite TV show?
Oh, that's a much harder question because I have a list of TV shows that I just would watch over and over.
Yeah.
The West Wing.
Uh-huh.
You thought I was going to say that?
No, I wasn't sure what you were going to say.
Like I rewatched The West Wing frequently.
Yep.
I still watch Grey's Anatomy.
Right.
I've been watching that since I was literally 12 years old. So there you go.
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls. I don't know. There's a bunch of shows that I will just like religiously rewatch, and I don't have the same relationship with movies, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Hindsight's always an important thing on this podcast and I guess life in general. And perhaps the way I should have phrased this question is, what could you watch over and over again? What could you watch every day without getting sick of it?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Right.
I mean, I think having a favorite movie is a totally normal thing to have. I just don't really have one.
Yeah.
Well, especially, dude, we love Star Wars, but like, I don't watch Star Wars like every weekend anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
I
yeah.
do, but yeah.
I've seen more of The Office than Star Wars lately, and I don't even really like The Office. Like, I watch it, but it's not
That's
like my
hilarious.
favorite show, you know?
Yeah.
Boo.
But that's an interesting perspective on that.
Yeah. It made it really hard when Lorelai and I started dating, because you can't play the favorite thing. You can't be like, what's your favorite movie? And Lorelai was like, actually, I don't believe in favorites. So,
I guess I kind of like them all.
Question. Okay.
I'm sorry it was so hard for you, Joey.
Here we are. So many years later. It's great. So, my all-time favorite movie for most of my life was The Princess Bride. It's still way up there, and I could still watch it every day and never get sick of it. I attached to that movie as a kid. I watched it all the time. I read the book all the time. I loved that movie. When I was in grade school, it was not cool to like that movie. It is very cool to like that movie now. But boy, did you get made fun of if you liked The Princess Bride as a kid when I was a kid. Anyway, just a little bitter about that. I would say my new favorite movie I could watch every day and be excited, like sit down excited to watch it, is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's an incredible movie. The animation, the people, the story, the music, it's phenomenal. I love that movie. I could sit down and watch it every day. Is that it? That's all our answers?
Good answers.
Well, we're not going to skip out because I still have a surprise question. Surprise question time with Joey. Surprise question time with Joey. For this reason, above all others, their capacity to answer, I have sent them you my surprise question. That's from Superman.
I know.
So, the surprise question this week is, what is a movie that you regret? What's a movie that either you really, really don't like, that you wish you didn't see, that you went to the movie theater and paid money to see, and it ended and you were like, I just paid money to see that movie, and you ripped the ticket stub up and you threw it out the window of the car on the way home?
I've walked out on a movie once.
Oh, that would have been a good to add to my spiel.
Yeah,
you didn't even
I walked
make it through.
out of the theater. I don't remember what it was though, but I remember doing that once in my life. Oh, but what was it?
Do you want us to come back to you?
I don't think I'm ever going to remember.
All
I'll
right.
think about it. Movies I regret.
Robin, do you have a thing?
I don't know about one that I paid money to see, because I'm pretty picky about if I'm going to spend money. It's one that I'm like 99.9% sure I'm going to really like.
Yeah.
But movies otherwise that I have watched that I wish I could get that time back. I'm sorry, Royce. I'm going with The Postman. That took several days of pausing and watching and pausing and coming back to it. And so in my mind, The Postman is 17 hours long. And I think that's part of it because it took us several days to watch it because it's like 3 hours or something.
Its runtime is a little too long. And I don't know, we didn't break it up that much. It might have been like 2 afternoons or something, but it is long. It's not that long, and maybe you should give it another chance.
I don't know. We broke it up over the span of like 2 or 3 days, and so in my mind, The Postman is 17 hours long. And
Yeah.
I've always said that there should be like a girlfriend cut of the movie, like not the director cut. I love director cuts where it's got all the extra BS in it, but there needs to be like a truncated version of it that's just like, get to the freaking deliver the mail already.
Yeah. Show me a 20-minute long version of The Postman. I'll probably like it.
I mean, it takes a long time for him just to become the postman.
It's very, very, very drawn out.
They could have made it a trilogy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Today they would. All right, well, I guess that's a fine answer. We have differences of opinions here, and that's what makes us so interesting. Royce, what do you got?
So not too many disappointed, like, actual theater experiences, aside from maybe, like, Last Jedi or Rise were, like, disappointing, but, like, that's a different rating scale. I would say in 2006, I bought the DVD for a movie called The Sentinel. And this is, like, the height of, like, Jack Bauer, 24, Prison Break. Like, this was a great era of, like, anti-terrorism TV shows and stuff like that. And I love Jack Bauer and Kiefer Sutherland. And he's the lead in that movie. And it's not a good movie. Also, I'm pretty sure I got the full screen version of the DVD, so I done goofed. It's like the rare occasion when, like, I'm going to get this movie. I'm going to love it. I've never seen it before. It was like it's getting it after the fact. And now it's sitting on the shelf, but, like, I've never watched that movie twice.
That's hilarious. So you wouldn't call, say, the experience that we shared in college of going to see X-Men Origins Wolverine disappointing. Would that be on your list for an answer for this?
I mean, there's parts of that movie I don't like, but, like, again, like, that was a midnight premiere. We were, like, stoked. Like, there's more fun memories surrounding that than, like, that wasn't a good movie.
It's so funny, that take from you, because it's the exact opposite as what you were arguing in our Star Wars surprise question episode.
Ask me again tomorrow. I'll change my answer again.
Yeah,
like, that's the way it goes.
Whenever we discussed Star Wars and you were like, this thing's make a movie bad. And now you're like, we had a good time, so it was good. It's just interesting to hear, because we're so connected to Star Wars, it's such a bigger part of, like, everything.
I wasn't as critical then either, though. That, like, same time, we went to, like, every midnight premiere. I wasn't into, like, nitpicking every single detail then. The more time goes on, the more details we nitpick.
Yeah, and then you got to start a podcast. It's the reason for all of this. Boy, do I have so many answers for this. I have a memory book of ticket stubs that I've saved over the years. I think the oldest one goes back to Big Fish, and then every movie since then. And it's mostly bad. I really like Big Fish. I think Big Fish is a good movie. But most of my ticket stubs are from bad movies that I paid money to see. Like, in my opinion, Spider-Man 3, X-Men 3, X-Men 3 again, etc. But one stands out among all as the worst thing I've ever seen, and I saw it in the theaters, and it's a movie called Sound of Thunder. It is based on a short story about, like, the butterfly effect, and there's people in the future who go back in time to hunt, to, like, kill a dinosaur. It's like a safari thing. Rich people go back in time to kill a dinosaur who's gonna die anyway. So that's how you avoid the paradox. But someone, I think in the movie, literally steps on a butterfly, and it causes all these horrible things to happen. And it's a really terrible story in the movie. It's a really terrible looking movie, and it's just all kinds of terrible. And that's the one where I ripped up the stub and threw it away. I didn't even keep it. I didn't want anyone to know that I had ever seen that movie, including me. But it came out like 15 years ago, and it's still on my mind. So that's the worst. All right, well, that was fun. Do we all feel closer to each other?
Yeah.
Is that fun for everybody?
All right, loyal listeners, what are your favorite movies? And even throw in TV shows. Why not? Maybe we'll have to do another episode where we recount favorite TV shows. That could be the Wild Wild West, though. We're going to have to do some research before we get hot on a microphone. That one could go off the rails real quick. But let us know what movies and TV shows you love, which ones you hate, which ones your significant other will not watch with you. Send us a tweet at Krypton Alderaan on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. And if you want to really send us a long-winded review, you can send us an email, kryptontoalderaan@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you on the next episode. I've been Royce.
I've been Robin.
I've been Lorelai.
And I've been Joey, I guess. But it's boring, but it's me.
And we've been
The Postman!